Alright, so let's first use the substitution technique. Again, let me kind of bring this other paper. The step-by-step process is we begin by picking a variable to solve for in an equation. And then once we do that, we sub that value, we substitute that expression into the other equation. That should now leave one remaining variable to solve for, so we do that. And then we go back and solve for the remaining variable by taking that value and coming back. So there it was in action. Now we're going to see it in multiple actions. So I've got 4 more examples of substitution. And right now we're dealing with a 2 by 2. Right? I'll do a 3 by 3 in another video because there's a lot more work. So again, step 1, I have 4 choices. Solve for x, solve for y, solve for x, solve for y. Don't make this any harder than it needs to be. Try to pick something easy. And I actually think it's easy to solve for x here. Right? Because to solve for x, I basically take my equation and I add y to both sides. So I get x equals y plus 8. So what do I do next? I take this value and I plug it into the other equation. So I'm going to replace that x with that expression. So we get 2 plus 3y equals 6. And I'm going to show that substitution with a red pen. Right? And again, get in a good habit. Put your substituted expression in parentheses so you can kind of see all the math around it and see what you need to do. So step 1, I chose to solve the first equation for x. Step 2, take that result and substitute it in the other equation. Now, right, you'll notice that I have one equation with one unknown. So step 3, solve for that remaining variable. So we get 2y plus 16 plus 3y equals 6. This is 5y plus 16 equals 6. Subtract 16 from both sides. We get 5y equals negative 10. Divide both sides by 5. And y equals negative 2. Alright, but we're not done because we're looking for an ordered pair. So the next step, right, step 4 is to take this value and go plug it in up here so that I can find my value for x. Negative 2 plus 8. Well, x is equal to 6. So the ordered pair that solves the system is 6, negative 2. By the way, we now say the system is consistent because it does actually have a solution. All right, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later, but it's definitely consistent because it has a solution. Next step is to check it, but I want to do more examples. Let's just trust the math. Well, you know, again, 6 take away a negative 2 is 8, and then 2 times 6 is 12. Plus a negative 6 is 6. So it checks out. Nice, pretty easy to check that one. All right, so there is your substitution technique. So let's do it again. Right, so we have 2 equations, and I got to pick a variable to solve for. And so again, there's no wrong choices. There's just some easier things and maybe some tougher things. So as I look at this, again, I actually think it's easy to solve for x in this one. All right, and so I do that by subtracting 2y from both sides. So x equals a negative 2y plus 4. Right? And so now what I do is take that result and sub it into the other equation. So again, I'm going to use a red pen to demonstrate that substitution and then get in the habit of writing that substitution in parentheses. That way you can see all the math behind it. Now I have one equation and one unknown, so we solve for it. Distributing here, I get negative 6y plus 12 minus y equals 5. So this is negative 7y plus 12 equals 5. Subtract 12, we get negative 7y equals negative 7. Divide both sides by negative 7, y equals 1. All right, but we're looking for an ordered pair. So next step is to come up here, plug in what I found for y, and I should be able to find x, right? And in this case, x is 2. So the ordered pair that solves this system is 2, 1. Pretty easy to check. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So it checks out like it should. All right, and there is your substitution technique for those 2 particular situations. All right, so how about I stop there? All right, I'll start a little bit fresh. Got some new nuances. Things get a little tougher in the next round. So let's just kind of start fresh. I'll see you in a video coming soon.